For the past 8 years, I've been able to call one of the richest alluvial gold creeks in the world my playground. And that's why I've come out here today. I want to find gold, but I'm also looking for possible crystals and gemstones while I'm panning in this side tributary. This, a long time ago, used to be the creek bed, and these boulders here are hiding some golden secrets. I actually filmed a high banking video in this spot about 12 months ago. I'll link that in the description below. This is actually my tailings. You can see that we've had floods since then and we've got flood debris on them. I wonder if there's any crystals in here. Maybe. Anyway, let's get digging. The gear that we're using today is pretty straightforward. I've got my little cheap $10 pan and we have a Buddings bucket because I'm still after that sponsorship, Buddings. And I need more buckets. I'm annoyingly far away from the water, so we're gonna have to transport buckets to where I've got water. Why am I bringing my pan for? Yeet! When I worked this area, I pulled out a heap of gold behind this boulder. Now, I've already test panned either side of it. I didn't get very much, but coming up to this section just here, we've got a lovely piece of bedrock jutting out, and we've got more bedrock here. So I'm thinking that the pay streak actually starts up here somewhere. So we're just gonna uncover a whole bunch of ground. Move the big, oh wow, that's a really big rock. And hopefully access some more bedrock and a rich little pay layer. Walking on the railroads, the railroads. You're probably wondering why I'm throwing the sand away. It's because the floods that go through here are so violent, the sand probably doesn't have anything in it. If it does, it'll only be minimal. I'm looking for that premium pay layer on the bedrock called mallow, which is long-term, filled with clay, bigger rocks. It's sort of the difference between this stuff, which is loose and fluffy and not that good looking, and this stuff, which is more hard-packed, filled with bigger pieces of gravel, and we've got tree roots running along. Now, if the tree roots are here, it means no one else has dug here because the tree's going over the top of it. At least that's my genius logic. That's a big rock. That's what we want. Yeah, this stuff right here, that's your mallow. Normally I would take that entire rock, but you know what, today we're going for volume, so I'm not going to worry too much about missing out on a few specks. We're going for the majority. So it's obviously the sand is going to follow that mallow layer, and it means we've got a deviation. The bedrock's sloping down at that point, and it's been channeled by this piece of bedrock sticking up here. What was that? What's that? Oh! Hey, we found our first relic. Oh, that's a beautiful piece of porcelain. So I found out that the Chinese came over here and they bought these beautiful Chinese plates. You can see a little bit of a scene of one just here. We've got a boat, and then this beautiful filigree and stuff all around it. But then the Europeans copied it. So I think this is a European copy with the way that it's been made. It was definitely part of either, probably a plate with the way that angle is. Super cool. The reason I'm out here looking for gold and gemstones and relics like that today is because I started my new business, my side hustle, the Old Moldy, where I'm making stuff out of the things that I find on the creek, selling some specimens, selling gold, selling jewelry and whatnot. And this is where I'm going to be getting some of my stock from. So it's cool to be able to share part of this amazing environment with people right across the world. It's just up for me to look for it. Now that feels like bedrock. It's not quite a full bucket, but I don't want to be carrying a stupidly heavy bucket over this terrain for no reason. So let's see if there's gold in it first. That's breaking up bedrock. So we're definitely on that bedrock, that's good. Hey, you owe me a milk carton reward for keeping Snuffy not only safe, but returning him. I will take nothing else but cash or gold, no checks, no more questions. Thank you, talk to my press secretary. You're lucky I didn't send his straw in the mail to you.
Oh, you would do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, half a straw too.
Half a straw.
Yeah.
Like an ear.
Yeah, but
Oh.
half an ear.
Pure evil this guy is.
Yeah, it amazes me how well Gadsy stays hydrated given that he wears rubber pants everywhere and black t-shirts. Or I'm amazed or impressed at how crappy my cooling system is that I need to wear all this to stay cool.
First pan of my potential spot bucket. Hopefully there's some gold in here. There is. These are typical Reedy Creek flakes for the first pan of the day. It's not too bad. I remember this spot having rich little pockets on the bedrock. So that's what we're going to look for. By the end of today, I should have enough for maybe some pay dirt. I mean, maybe we'll get some pay dirt out of this. This is 3 pans out of that half bucket in total. And this will give me a much better idea if I've got to look for a lower point in the bedrock or if I've got to expand my search for a good gold deposit. Shoe flies don't bother me. Oh, we've got some nice little pieces of tin in there by the looks of it. So these are cassiterite crystals. Not very good ones, pretty terrible ones, but anyway, there's a couple of them in there. But is there gold? Yes, but for 3 pans, I'm not very satisfied with that. Because we could definitely get a whole bunch more gold in this area. I know we can. For 3 pans, I want that in at least 1. Nonetheless, a little bit of gold. Yeet. The search continues, camera head man. I know there's gold up there because I got a couple of good test pans earlier. But obviously, going this way didn't yield terribly great results. So I have 2 options. I could either take a test pan from closer to the tree, or I can open up more ground to see if there's gravel on the bedrock, because the gravel's the most important thing. I'm gonna just quickly check for gravel. That's bedrock right there. See, right there is where we're getting, it deviates. Ah, it's deviating that way. So the ground must rise there. So when floodwaters come through, it's wrapping around this way. Because over here, I've got loose sand with no gravel, but over this way, I've got silt, clay, and rock. And it changes right at that point there. Let's take our sample from this way. I bet ya, any money. Oh, we got real compacted gravel in there. Yeah, so the stream runs this side and there's way more big rocks. Whew, you don't need a gym membership. You just gotta be a gold prospector. Whoa. That material looks so much better. It's what I call oatmeal gravel. It sort of looks like porridge that's been cooked. It's got the same sort of consistency. And traditionally I found really good gold in oatmeal gravel. Seriously lazy prospecting today too, just getting to lie down. Lie down. This is laying down now. There's a really similar amount of black sand to the last one, so if black sand is our indicator mineral, and I'm not feeling terribly lucky, but you never know. A little bit coarser. And yeah, we got gold. Because I like arguing, I'm going to argue that is a similar amount to the first test pan I did. Let's do the bucket and find out. So many more big rocks. That's really good. It is the same amount of pans, same amount of dirt, but just from a slightly different spot. With a bit of luck. Oh, the black sand is way coarser, and there's a nice little flake of gold there. Coarser tin, more of it. Still not what I really want to see for 4 pans, but hopefully there'll be some gold to make up for it. Oh, it's a better pan. It's a much better pan. Got more specks, and they're bigger. So all that means is that we're on the right track for which direction the pay streak was going. All right, we're on the right path. Let's follow that pay streak and see if we can get into some really big gravels where we know there's going to be good gold. Yeet! Guys, he's getting his body cam ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case he's got to fight some criminals.
Yeah.
What are we? Bad prospectors, bad prospectors. That doesn't roll off the tongue.
Nah.
Bad miners, bad miners. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for dig for you?
Yeah.
I remember that the gold was best where that hole is, where this gap is. I rolled all these rocks back in. That was the richest section. I took a test pan from here and got a little bit of gold out of that, but I'm thinking that it's going to be tucked in behind this. And I think that's a big piece of floating bedrock if it wiggles. Yeah, it wiggles, so that's floating bedrock. Let's clear out behind here, like directly behind it. I reckon that's the go. Oh, there's a lizard there. Right there. Oh, it is wedged in there, so it's been here for a little while. And it doesn't really look like anyone's messed around with it. Oh, give me enough leverage and I'll move the world. Oh, friction's the other thing. There we go. That's a big one. Yeah, this is a really good sign because there was none of these rocks over here. And it is all that oatmeal gravel. I don't even think I'm on the bedrock. I can't forget you. Come for the ride. You know what? It's about time we got the Homer Simpson socks off and the Pringles socks off. Put our feet in the water. Oh, and enjoyed it. Oh, very slippery, but damn, that's the ticket. 30-degree day, feet in the water, panning in Australia. I guarantee you, this is living. I'm not fully expecting the spec count to go up amazingly, but I know that there will be a pocket there somewhere because the gold's running through that direction. And if I can just lock onto one good pocket, a couple hundred specks of gold, makes the whole day worth it. Oh yeah. That is some coarse tin and a little piece of gold just there. Okay, again, not a huge amount of tin, but it's coarse and chunky, so that's a good start. Oh yeah. This is the right direction for sure. There's more gemstones. The gold particle size is just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger than what it was. So I think we're going to have an okay day if we follow that pay streak. To be fair, it is kind of hard to tell. You never know. Gold prospecting is educated gambling. You have an idea of where the gold may be, and your testing indicates that there could be decent gold in that area, but until you do the work, you're not going to find out. I think we're going to see maybe a little bit better gold than last time. We have more black sand, and it is much coarser, so we're getting far more of these larger pieces of tin. These pieces of tin sit with better gold deposits usually. I think it's going to look pretty similar, maybe slightly more to the last one. Yeah, we got more. Actually, we got a lot more. I honestly thought we would see a similar amount of gold and we'd have to track it a bit more, but the particle size is better and we got more specs. So it's definitely in that spot. I'm going to track it down, and when I find it, it's going to be a little bonanza. I paused, I used my brain for about 34 seconds, and then I found it. That 34-second pause is super important. This is about a 3/4 full pan's worth of dirt. We've got very coarse tin and a whole bunch of gold. That's the best spec count of the day, considering this pan wasn't even full. And that only means two things: taking my lovely bucket back to the pay area, and the second thing is running a parkour course all the way back. Ooh, almost broke my ankle. The best gold in this whole area was down there. We've got really good high bankable gold through this dirt. but I'm not here with a high banker today, so I need something better. And I thought, well, you know what? We've got bedrock coming up here. We've got a huge gravel pile here and over there. And this funnels all of that gravel through this area. And given we have bedrock so close, maybe the concentrator starts up here. So I dug down, and when I hit the bedrock, which is just here, I followed it till we found a depression where gold would collect, and that's where that pan came from. So the question now, wow, is how much more gold is down here? I'm just looking for the top of the pay layer. I don't want to cut down into it too deep. That's why we find little nuggets sitting on top of mullock piles out near gold mines, is because they would dig a hole like this, get to roughly where the pay layer is, and sometimes cut into it and throw that dirt up on the bank. And that's where we find our nuggets in the hard rock areas. But this is the same, right? I don't want to cut too deep and cost myself specks of gold. So we're looking for that change in soil, which is right there. Goes from sand to clay. So we're just going to scrape that sand off, because I don't want to be taking that back in my bucket. All right, this is our pay dirt. You know, I've been told before, oh, Chris, why don't you get in the creek? You'll find way more gold. Well, I'm going to show you why. This is flood debris, meaning that there was 1.5, at the deepest point, 2 meters of water flowing over this section of ground. I wonder if there's any more, because I know it gets deeper around here, but it is quite wide. So anyway, we know the flood waters were at least this high. And that's why there's gold here. And there is no way in hell I'm parkouring back over that. Oh, that is some lovely decaying bedrock. We've got gravel, bits of black sand. Still no crystals. It would make sense that the pay streak would start in that area. Hopefully I got it right. There's way more. Again, we're getting coarser and coarser tin, pieces of ironstone like that. That's great. Still coarse black sand. And still really only about the same amount of gold. It's good. It's okay gold, but it's not what I want. This will add up. Like, it'll add up if I consistently work it, which is what I'm going to do today. I was really hoping to find a nice bonanza pan. Not even Mayor of Bonanza City can help me out today.
It's better than what I've been getting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not bad, but I remember it being really good.
Yeah, it's not as, certainly not as rich as how I remember
They
it.
took our gold.
They took our gold.
I realized just how dumb I have been today. I made a mistake 12 months ago. I made a big mistake. All of this area here has gold. It's all high bankable gold. If I threw this dirt through a high banker, I'd be able to clean it out in maybe a couple of hours, and I would net probably in and around 1 to 2 grams worth of gold. So let's call it 1.5 grams. Back in the day, I got mad gold just out of behind this boulder. Far less dirt, far less volume, because the spec count was so high. But the spec count was high for a reason, and that is that there was really sticky clay there. And that really sticky clay fell off the back of my high banker, because I'm about efficiency. It's much easier to throw dirt through the high banker, wash all the loose gravel off, and then keep processing, avoiding working this clay, because that takes up a lot of time. But it's been 12 months and the clay is broken down because it's been exposed to the weather. That means that hole behind me that was producing really good gold on the clay is now all sitting here in a pile. I've already done all the hard work. There should be gold in this. Gazzy's crevicing out a crevice that I creviced a while ago.
No,
and he is still wearing shoes. I don't know how you're ever going to become grounded, brother.
I don't want to be grounded.
What do you want to be?
I want to be electrocuted.
Now I know I pulled out a whole bunch of crystals and stuff back in the day. So we're going to use the classifier this time. Ooh. Oh, it's so light. Reedy Creek doesn't actually have any lode deposits feeding its length. So you're very unlikely to find any kind of nugget in here, like extraordinarily unlikely. But we do get beautiful agates, crystals, smoky quartz, amethyst, and a bunch of other stuff. So it is well worth looking. Actually, a 40 carat sapphire was pulled out of here not too long ago. Anyway, none in that one. Gadsy, I'm panning 12-month-old tailings.
Really?
Yeah, because it was full of clay, and you know what I'm like with clay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, ah, bonk, bonk, bah.
Lazy prospector you are.
The laziest of prospectors. But you know what they say about the lazy prospector? He gets the gold. He doesn't wash very well. You know what you say about the lazy prospector? Lots of cheese. I finished the bucket, had a look at my pan, and apparently I did a much better job of high banking than I thought I did. So maybe I didn't make a mistake, but it was worth checking, because we're getting more than that on the pay streak. The day is only getting hotter, and I am running out of energy, so I'm going to call it quits. I've done a whole bunch more pans from the spot up there, and I've had a little look around. I couldn't find anything more significant, but we still have managed to collect a reasonable amount of gold. This spot would be an absolute cracker with a high banker, so I may have to bring one of them out. But even still, just panning today, I managed to get a whole bunch of flour gold. I cannot argue with that result. There's going to be a whole bunch more mixed in this black sand, and that is just typical Reedy Creek gold. Super fine and lots of it. Oh, I cannot wait to get into the air conditioner. I've got the gold all cleaned up from my session yesterday and I'm waiting for it to dry. And while I'm doing that, I'm working on one of my side projects. My side project involves this little gold nugget here. At today's prices, that makes this little piece of gold worth about $18.50. And this is a little myrtle hardwood pendant that I've made up. Alright, now we're going to get our little nugget and put it right in the middle. Perfect. And tweezers, because we're pedantic like that. I understand that some of you might be a little bit freaked out about trying to encase a gold nugget in some resin, but you can literally dissolve it with acetone, so there's no harm, no foul. Acetone doesn't do anything to gold, but it does a lot to resin. Stuck on a piece of natural leather, and I think we have a bit of taxation is theft. Moving right along. Prospecting is one of those things. This spot used to be really good, and now it's okay. There's still gold here, just not as much as there once was. You've got to admire just how flat, thin, and fine Reedy Creek gold truly is. But now let's get this on the scales. This is some of the gold I did in my last weigh up. We're just going to tear that off because I'm short on tiny gold pans. Bob, would you like to tell everyone about Patreon? Every single month on my channel over on Patreon, we give away sluice boxes, panning kits, pay dirt, gold, jewelry, stuff. We give away heaps of stuff. It costs just $2 a month to sign up. There are no long-term commitments. The link is in the description below if you're interested in that. Me and Bob are going to get this gold on the scales. We're all zeroed off. It would look a lot better if I could add that nice chunky stuff to it, but I'm going to guess we got about 1/4 gram, which is not too bad considering how smashed the spot turned out to be. Oh, it's pretty close for once, 0.2. That means in total, I made around $20.